On Saturday, I was going for a sixth straight winning day, and coming off the heels of Friday night's top-rated 15-dime winner with Colorado over UCLA, I was feeling pretty good. So I came out with top-rated 15-dime winner number 17 out of 22 on New Mexico, a 7-point favorite at home against Liberty. Well, when New Mexico was trailing 42-10 in the first half, I kind of figured that game was over. The only good thing I can say about that game is that you can only lose it once, and it was kind of like a mercy killing, almost like euthanasia. I didn't really have to pay too much attention to that game after the first quarter because it was all over. But listen, if you know one thing about me by now, guys, it's I don't celebrate the wins. I don't lament the losses. During this great 4-month run that I've been on, I just stay even keel. But I've been doing that for the last 25 years, and I would recommend that all of you do the same. As gamblers, listen, even as handicappers, there's so many people in this business that don't do that. You cannot let yesterday affect today or affect tomorrow, because those that do celebrate the wins too much, do lament the losses too often, well, they're always the suicidal types. They're the ones that are walking the plank, always on the edge. And you just can't be that way, because when you focus too much on the day past, well, the problem is that you often are missing the next money-making opportunity that is staring you in the face. So instead of going for winning day number 7 in a row today, I'm looking at winning day number 6 out of 7. I can live with that. And today, well, my confidence isn't shaken. I'm coming right back with top-rated 15-dime winner number 17 out of 23, and it's on Philadelphia at Tennessee. And if you want it, you can get it for half off by using coupon code HALF. It's an NFL 15-dime best bet. I'm 5-1 with them so far, or 5-2 so far with them this season. 120-86 with these plays over the past 7 years. One guy who did win yesterday, Chris Jordan, props going out to him as he cashed in with his top-rated 1,000-star winner number 5 out of 7 in college football, as he scored with an easy winner with Central Florida hammering Pittsburgh. He's got another one just as strong today with the Bengals and Falcons. In college football, $1 bettors since the 2015 season have made a little over $17,000. Those same $1 bettors in the NFL have made a little over $20,000. And hell, $1 bettors in all sports, no matter the rating, have made a little over $54,000 the past 22 months, and you can get that play as he goes for winning day number 21 out of 32 for over half price off by using coupon code Chris. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Steve Buden's Cali Cartel goes for NFL winner number 5 in a row today on the Chargers 49ers on the late card, coming on the heels of Thursday night winners on the Ram, Monday's winner on the Steelers Bucks over, last Sunday's winner on the Rams, 2 Thursdays ago winner on the Browns over the Jets. You get it for over half price off by using coupon code CALI. All your other discounts and promo codes are over on the homepage. Yesterday I cashed in with 2 out of 3 complimentary plays. Gave you Notre Dame, gave you Cincinnati. It was on the wrong side of North Texas as the Mean Green suffered their first loss of the season, and a close one at home, getting upset by Louisiana Tech. Today, let's start with a complimentary play as I'm going to run them in a reverse chronological order with the New Orleans Saints. I'm willing to lay the 3.5 points with the Saints at New York. The Saints are 3.5 point favorites, so naturally in this case I'm going to buy down the half point on New Orleans. Listen, the Saints are coming off that thrilling 43-37 overtime win at Atlanta, where they scored the final 13 points in the game. This could be that game. I'm talking about last week's game against Atlanta. That could be just like last year in week number 3, the win against Carolina that propels the Saints into that great run that led them to the playoffs a season ago. The Giants beat me last Sunday. I had a 15-dime best bet on the Houston Texans last week, and it was only my second NFL loss of the entire year, going back to the preseason. But I don't believe in the Giants. That's the bottom line. Eli Manning had a good game last week, 25-29, 297 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I will give you that the Saints secondary has been torched the past couple of weeks for 776 yards and 9 touchdowns by Matt Ryan and Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I say that Eli Manning does not get the job done here, because this Giants offensive line is just awful. It's like a sieve. I mean, Eli got sacked 4 times and hit 5 times by the Texans last week. Chad Wheeler was inserted into the offensive line in place of Eric Flowers, who has just been awful in terms of providing any pass protection. Well, Wheeler was abused by J.J. Watt. Watt got by him 3 times and sacked Manning himself last week. Well, today Chad Wheeler is going to be tasked with stopping Cam Jordan, who already has 4 sacks this year himself. Eli Manning has been sacked 12 times this year, 10 times the past 2 weeks by the Texans and the Cowboys combined. Look at this Giants secondary. It wasn't really challenged the first 2 weeks by Jacksonville or Dallas, but then look at how DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller combined for 11 catches and 187 yards last week. And Drew Brees is just off to one of the best starts of his career. And look at Michael Thomas, his new go-to receiver, who has 38 catches. That's an NFL record through 3 games. NFL record already. Yes, Saquon Barkley has gotten off to a very good start, but look at New Orleans' defense. They've held opposing backs to just 234 yards through 3 games from the line of scrimmage. That's the second best mark in the league so far. Giants 0-5 against the spread in the game after their last 5 straight up wins. Saints have been a very good road team here of late. 15-5 against the spread, their last 20 on the road. So I'm willing to go ahead and again lay the 3.5 points, buy down that half point anytime the line is between 3 and 4.5 points, and I'm going to go with New Orleans in this contest. Also in today's card, I like oh boy, yeah, I'm going to go with Jacksonville minus the 7.5 at home against the New York Jets. Listen, Sam Darnold looks so good in that week 1 game against Detroit, but was it because he looked so good or because the Lions were so pathetic? The last 2 weeks, has he really looked good? No. The Dolphins defense? They disrupted him. Against the Browns, didn't look good at all. Now he's going to face a Jacksonville pass rush, which is going to be the best that he's faced in his very brief young career. Against Miami, his quarterback rating was 13.8. Against Cleveland, his quarterback rating was 30.9. Yeah, against the Lions, it was 82.9. So we've seen a drastic drop as he's played better defenses. And the best one he's going to play is today. And this is a Jacksonville team that is pissed off. This is a Jacksonville team that just doesn't play well against Tennessee for one reason or another. And I also wonder if last week's loss to Tennessee was more not only because they were playing the Titans, but because they were coming off a letdown game against the Patriots. Listen, letdown games happen in the NFL just like they happen in college football as well. A plus for the Jaguars. They're playing at home, and they're expected to get Leonard Fournette back here as he's missed the last couple of games because of a hamstring injury. Yes, did the Jets beat the Jaguars last year at home? They did. Did they run wild against the Jaguars last year at home? They did. But I like the Jaguars here. I do hope the Jaguars get their penalty situation under control. 26 penalties for 265 yards. They're the 4th most penalized team behind Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Philadelphia so far. But I am going to go with them. And listen, quirk in scheduling. This is the Jets' 3rd road game in a 21-day stretch. So even though they've had a couple extra days to prepare because they played that Thursday nighter a week and a half ago in Cleveland, which they came from ahead to lose that contest, it's still a difficult spot with a rookie quarterback taking on a team that just got upset by Tennessee at home. So I'm willing to go with the 7.5 point favorite of the Jaguars. And again, I'm going to buy down the half point in this particular game. Here's an interesting game. Green Bay is a 9.5 point favorite at home against Buffalo. Let me ask you this. Were the Bills that good last week at Minnesota? Or were the Vikings that bad? Seriously. What's the answer there? I say the Bills were that bad. Are the Packers 0-2 against the spread this season going to come up lame again like they did last week at Washington? I mean, the Bills' 27-6 road win against Minnesota. The Vikings, 6 points and 292 total yards. Did the Vikings rest too many key performers thinking they could just sleepwalk through that game and instead get too focused ahead to the road game against the Rams on Thursday night? Was that Minnesota's problem, that they just took the Bills for granted? Listen, Josh Allen, he played well, but he's still playing behind an offensive line that doesn't afford him any protection with 11 sacks in 3 games. Hell, that Bills offensive line has given up 14 sacks overall in 3 games. Aaron Rodgers did not look good in Washington. the knee injury certainly is hurt. Playing with that bulky knee brace, his mobility is still limited. I just got to think that Green Bay rebounds today. I also think that Aaron Jones, who was suspended the first 2 games of the season, returned against Washington, averaged in limited carries, 6 carries, 7 yards a pop. Last year, averaged 5.5 yards a carry, 448 yards on 81 carries overall. He is going to be such a boon to that Green Bay ground game and give them a little offensive balance. I'm willing to say that Buffalo reverts to its early season form, and that the turnaround defensively last week was more a result of the Vikings simply playing awful ball than the Bills playing good ball. And I like Green Bay minus the 9.5 points here at home. So, of the 3 selections, I would say Jacksonville would be my top play, New Orleans would be number 2, and Green Bay would be number 3. And that'll do it for Sunday. Talk to you again on Monday.